Okay, so what I've got here is I got a character that one of my students has made. Okay, and they put some funny things on it. Great. They got a problem though. They've got their legs, and if I go in and take a look, let's hide the body. They've put in this strange controller here where they put in extra joints, and this is going to cause them issues. And I'm trying to keep this relatively simple, so I'm going to try to. They've done all their weighting on their fingers, and they're quite happy with it. And I thought I'm going to show you a crazy way to go in and redo the leg. So I'm going to reposition a few things, and let's see if I can do this. So first off, here let's get into the hypergraph and la 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 la. Where is this thing? Boink. There we go. So there's this leg, and if I grab this lower waist, that should be fine. This is the joint that's a bit of a problem, and I might get rid of these IK handles. Okay, great. And I might have to get rid of some of the groupings and stuff like that. Might have to do that over again, but we can potentially save all the weighting. So what I'm going to do is I select the mesh and I select this joint, and in the rigging section I go into rigging and I go to skin. There is an option. Where the hell am I? Edit influences. I can go in here and I can remove an influence. So I just remove that influence. That no longer affects it. I'm going to take this one, take that one, remove influence. This one, that one, remove influence. This one, that one. Oh, I forgot to select the mesh. Okay, great. Remove influence. Done. Now I can actually remove this. This whole thing no longer affects the mesh. Okay. And we've still got these bones here. We're going to come back and fix that in a second. So I select the bone, select mesh, and remove influence. Just double checking as I'm doing this. Grab the joint, grab the mesh, remove influence. Done, and I can get rid of these legs. Okay, now I previously made this in the side view, and then to get it into position I rotated it a little bit. Okay, just trying to get the ankle in position, and the knee's in a pretty good spot. I think this should work. There's a little bit of a kink here. Sometimes I say it's easier to make the mesh match up with the joints than it is to do it the other way around. I'm just going to check this in the side view before I get too involved. This is there's a slight kink. We can work with it. The knees here, actually I might just, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I would almost want to re-rig and just kind of position these a little bit differently, but whatever. We'll just see what we can do. Okay, and what have I got here for my joints? Okay, and actually I'm just going to rename these. I'm going to pause and rename because this will drive me crazy. Okay, so it's been renamed. Great. And I'm going to parent it into this joint up in here. So I'm just going to select that and press P. Now it's part of it. And now we'll flip it across. So I'll go over to skeleton and I can do mirror joints. Okay, capital R, capital S. Okay, great. Boop, pop it over to the other side. Everything's happy times. Now, the trick to replace the leg joints is I select the mesh, I select the joint. Now this add influences here. What I have to do is go into the options, and there's an option here that says use geometry. That's on by default. If you turn that off, you can use a joint as an influence. Look. Okay, so I can go down here, select the mesh, select the joint, add influence. And select the mesh, select the joint, add influence. The last joint in the chain doesn't actually do anything, but you know what? We'll put it in anyway. There, grab that last joint, boop, there. And I'll go up here, and I'll grab the mesh. Come on, grab the mesh, grab the joint, add influence. Mesh, joint, add influence. Mesh, joint, add influence. And I'm almost done. Okay, there, and select this and that, add influence. We are done. And anything else I want to say about this? One other thing, if you're trying to use the paint weights. Okay, actually I see a little bit, there's a history of polytweak UV. You don't want that living in here, so I'm just going to go edit, delete by type, non-deformer history. Oh no. Spinning wheel of death. Go. Do it. I probably should have done this before I did the remove weights thing. Doing a lot of thinking here. This seems like spinning wheel of death. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute, and hopefully this will get out of it. Okay, it stopped. It took another minute or so, but it did it. And I'm just going to check the student's hands here. Check your hands! And middle finger bend. Okay, everything seems to be working. Okay, cool. So nothing weird with the weighting. Now, if I check the weighting here, okay, it's going to need some weighting done to this. But what was the point I was going to make? The point I was going to make is if I go to the Paint Skin Weights tool, you might not notice it in the hierarchy right away. Actually, it's there. Okay, so it is there. Good, good, good. Let's go and hit 5. And if I go in here and I take a look and I turn the gradient on, yeah, you can see that the weights are really bad by default, so you're going to have to work those. I seem to remember there was something where these would actually show up on the very bottom because they were influences, but that's gone. So that's it. I've just fixed this, and now it has to be re-rigged and reweighted here, but all these other things up in here should be good. Actually, let's just double check just because. If I go and I got the tool on, and let's go up and take a look at some of these joints. So if I take that joint, select influence, that seems to be weighted. I don't think anything has changed. I suspect there might be some problems here and there, but that seems to be primarily done. So I'm going to stop this video here.